All right, let's talk about the business of sports. The National Baseball Hall of Fame induction ceremony is this weekend. Alex Rodriguez was a teammate of 3 of the 4 inductees, and our other guest host, also dialed into the sports biz, investor Marc Lasry, is a co-owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, and I know a lot about how that went off because I know some of the other owners there, who's good old Wes, and I know that you didn't want to overpay, and he said, yeah. Mark, will you just do this, please? And now, how much is it worth?
It's worth more than we paid for it.
That's just like.
Would you sell it today for $1 billion?
No.
There you go.
Especially after last year.
He did more than just say, "Won't you please do this?" Didn't he? Go with a higher bid than you had signed off on?
Yeah, no. Look, we wouldn't have been able to buy the team but for Wes. I mean, I was a little bit cheaper, and Wes explained to me that if we didn't do this, we wouldn't be able to own it. So. The position we're in now is really because of him.
Let's talk, Alex, and we talked off camera. I don't know if you said I was allowed to bring this up or not.
Let's bring it up.
A lot of home runs, dude, right? Verlander brought something up, and it's kind of an interesting dynamic that MLB owns Rawlings. Is that true?
Yeah, so Major League Baseball owns Rawlings, but all this...
They make the baseball.
Right, they make the baseballs, they make gloves, they make bats. But obviously, it's been our baseball for over 100 years. But, Commissioner Manfred is, I think, doing a great job in communicating that, look, we just don't have enough data. And that's how I feel, too. After 3 years, just like the Derek Jeter acquisition, we all have enough data to say, okay, was this year an anomaly or is this the norm? And then you adjust. Some players like Verlander he's given up 26 home runs. The most he's ever given up is 30. We're about the halfway point, so I understand his frustration. Other players like David Price have gone away from the cutter, that's more of a contact pitch, and gone to the changeup, that's more of a swing and miss pitch. So everyone handles news a little differently.
You think the home run derby has people, it's got people like they think they're in the home run derby every day, right? And they don't care about strikeouts anymore.
Tony Petitti, our CEO of Major League Baseball, actually made a nice adjustment on home run derby and put a clock element to it. And it's actually, the ratings have been really, really good the last few years. But I think we're in an environment, just like business, that analytics have taken over our game, just like your game, basketball. And it's hit or miss world, right? Home runs are celebrated. Strikeouts, people don't frown on them. When I came up, whether it's, Bucky Dent or Scooter or Derek Jeter or Bernie Williams, we were embarrassed if we struck out. Today, you can be 1 for 5 with 4 strikeouts. As long as you hit 1 home run or a double, that's considered good.
The ball's harder? Yeah.
Well, that's the consensus, right? That the ball's harder. Some people say it's as hard as a golf ball is traveling further and further. I think 2 things, Becky. I think the fact that if you're 0-2 as a young kid, you say, hey, choke up, put the ball in play. 0-2, they say, let's swing harder and harder. So, A, they're trying to hit more home runs. The recourse, there is no recourse. If you strike out, no big deal. I strongly disagree with that. And then if the ball's a little harder, then I think Commissioner Manfred in 3 or 4 years will make it a little bit more par.
Rob's got it in pretty good shape, though.
Absolutely.
You would say. Doing a good job. And it's a local, but I'm not going to bring up the Reds anymore, but we like our we like our teams locally, right? We're allowed to do that, and that's where a lot of the money comes from, right?
Yeah. It's from TV, and what's different about the NBA from Major League Baseball, they have more parity. So if the league makes $100 and the owners make 60 and 40 at the end of the year, it gets 50-50. And if the owners make a little bit more, the players make more money, they send you guys a check. Ours is more regional. So teams like the Cubs, the Red Sox, the Yankees, Dodgers, they're making big money. It's a great business.
And it's a totally different experience. You watch guys running up and down the court. It's just nonstop. Watching good fielding, which can win games, or watching, I like the National League, more because, you got to think about, do I put a guy in, a substitute runner, and know what's that going to mean for the next lineup? The pitcher's coming up later. What am I going to do there? Should we steal? It's so much strategy involved. It's a real acquired taste. I think they're starting to get it over in Europe too, and that crappy cricket. Right? Really, they should try baseball, and they are. Do you ever see something like that happening? Did you see the idea of moving a team part-time over to Europe? Did you see that?
Yeah, look, I think Commissioner Manfred has ideas of growing our game globally to Mexico City. Mexico City's on fire. You look at Montreal. You look at potentially one day Cuba.
Yeah.
And London was an enormous success. We had 120,000 people come watch over 2 days.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I was kidding about cricket. I don't know how it works anyway, but it looks weird. I mean, that big, it's like throw the ball normal. Anyway.